Hello, and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode 509 at scavengerlife.com.
I don't know if you've noticed, Ryan, but it seems like for the past couple of years, I just see videos every day of people doing backflips. I mean,
you're just like,
haven't you seen that
yes,
online?
I did.
It's
I just saw one.
It's just all the time people are like doing backflips. They're in grocery stores, they're in their yard, they're at school. I mean, when I was growing up, I wouldn't even fathom. The only people who did backflips were world-class gymnasts or like kung fu artists.
Yeah.
You know?
Why are people doing backflips?
It's so weird. And here's what I think is happening is that, nowadays, especially with something like TikTok or YouTube,
yes.
People are very connected. Someone knows how to do it, they do it, and they show the example. And then other people just learn how to do it.
They're like, oh, I could do that.
And then they do it. And I guess it kind of reminds me of, there's a famous story of the 5-minute mile. That was something that was impossible.
Right.
Humans could not run a mile in 5 minutes. And then one day, someone has to fact check me on this, like the 20s or 30s or something. Some guy in England just ran it in 5 miles.
5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah. 1 mile, 5 minutes.
And then suddenly, everyone started doing it.
Yeah, right. They're like, it's impossible.
It's that, and that story is used as an example of, once like an unthinkable task is broken, is done, then everyone just kind of mentally is able to do it. And so
they see it is possible. It's not impossible.
Right. And kind of like with a backflip, it's not like I see a video on TikTok, someone flips, and then I go in my backyard and then I'm just flipping.
Like, I could do that.
I bet it takes a lot of time and determination. Just knowing someone else can do it isn't enough. Having someone tell you how to do it isn't enough. You just have to do it. You have to fall down, get up, do it again.
Yeah.
But once you learn, it's good. It's also like when I was a kid, people skating.
Yeah.
Skater friends of mine were really into the VHS tapes.
Of other skaters. Yeah.
That was really, really big.
Yeah.
Because kids could see
how to do
other
tricks.
skaters were doing tricks.
Right.
And then that would like put it in their minds. And then I was not a skater, but I hung out around people that did it.
Me too.
And then, you go and watch kids try it again and again, bust their butt, fall down.
Yeah.
But then they eventually do it. But those tapes, if they didn't see it, they wouldn't know how to do it.
Right, exactly.
Why am I talking about this?
What is the actual point?
Sometimes when I'm doing this podcast, I'm like, why are we doing this? We
Yeah.
don't really make money. I guess I'm just hoping like this is kind of like the backflip people can see. You're hearing from two regular Joe and Joettes.
Yeah.
We find stuff out in the wild. Some people would call it junk or trash.
Yep.
And then we resell it online. And we make a living doing that.
Yep.
And, and I feel like it does happen. We get people emails, thanks for doing this. I'm doing it now. And,
right.
And just because you hear this doesn't mean you magically...
Yeah, you have to try.
...know how to make money.
Yeah.
Just like that backflip, you have to then go out, find your own stuff, try and list it, make mistakes, get confused by eBay, get mad at eBay.
That's what I still do. But yeah, sure.
Or in whatever site you're going to sell on.
Yeah, sure. And figure out the weirdness.
Figure out prices and, and then eventually it can work.
Yeah.
And then once you kind of know and once you've kind of done it, then you've done it.
Yeah.
Like... We now are the people doing backflips in our backyard all day long.
Right.
But
not on TikTok.
It's a pipeline. Yeah, it's like a pipeline where we find stuff, throw it in there, and money comes out.
Look, it's honestly like any business. Like, you think that something's impossible, or you're like, I don't know how other people are doing this. Like, any business that we started, Airbnb, video production, now the coffee shop and coffee roastery, we're like, we don't know what we're doing. Right. How do we do it? Let's start. Let's ask people. Let's ask friends. Let's ask people we don't know. Let's try it. Let's fail. Let's succeed.
But I will say, like, us starting this coffee shop, it has been frustrating because there aren't a lot of people that know how to do this well and then are willing to talk about it, you know. Like, we actually went to quite a few coffee shops, and people who run coffee shops will tell you general kind of stuff, but if you really start getting into it, I mean, people don't want to tell you their business.
Right.
I mean, that's why I guess we eventually found a couple who ran a coffee shop, and we've become partners with them.
Right,
so,
because they did want to share how they did it, so we could do it together.
Yeah, I mean, just it was a business deal, and like, it makes sense. And then they, you know, shared everything about how it works, and you know, so. But it is interesting how it's not easy to, and that's where I guess all the gurus kind of fill that void, because there isn't a lot of good, real information about running a business. So you know, end up going to like a hotel ballroom and hear some guy, lady tell you how to make millions of dollars putting tiny little ads in the newspaper.
Oh my God. Wasn't that real?
Wasn't that little ads?
Oh my God.
Just Google tiny little ads in the newspaper, and you'll see the guy who slit his own throat in prison.
Oh my God, is that true?
Yeah, that's where it ended up.
People, what is this podcast about? Good God. Happy Sunday.
Dropping little
that's great.
Easter eggs that people can go down.
Well.
I also like the fact that we're teaching people how to recycle the junk of our society. We've said that before. There's a lot of waste / abundance, depending on how you want to see it.
Abundant
in our
waste.
Society. And it's very satisfying if we have anything to do with helping our fellow Americans and global citizens reuse stuff instead of it getting thrown away. Like, that is so satisfying.
It's really hilarious because, like, we're doing all the little touch-ups of our coffee shop, and we've renovated many spaces, so we have, like, a ton of screws, a ton of trim, a ton of, you know, et cetera, paint and polyurethane. And we try to use that stuff like till it's used up. I have this little jar of Rust-Oleum flat black paint. Half of it's completely dried up.
Right.
I had to like cut through it and like add some paint thinner, but I'm like, I'm using it. I swear to you, I've had that jar for 10 years. Right. And I'm like, I'm using it till it's done.
Okay, good.
Why buy another jar?
I have a milk crate full of just like a little bag and jars of screws.
Because we use screws all the time.
We've collected over all of our renovations that don't get used.
Capcons.
So anytime we start a new project, I always pull it out, and whoever we're working with, I'm like, before we go buy it, let's use this.
Because we've already bought it, you know? But it's so funny because the last 3 days we've been doing like a million little odds and ends at the shop. And there's so many things where I'm like, oh, I already have that. I'll just use it. Reuse.
But I will say, you know, what we have been able to do, which I think is totally doable, is not to become rich selling on eBay. I don't know how to do that. I have no idea how to get rich selling on eBay. What I do know how to do is basically make about $1,000 a week.
A week,
net.
Right.
You know?
And no more.
You know, it's not like, it seems like
literally no more than
eBay has decided that's how much we're going to make, but that seems to be about the amount of work and the kind of stuff we're able to find.
The level, the
kind of stuff we're able to buy, we're willing to buy and resell.
That we have access to, like, very easily.
Right. That we make about $1,000 a week, every week. You know? It's 52 weeks out of the year, and that's not getting rich. I mean, you know, you say that's about $50,000, maybe $40,000 after expenses. But that's
a pretty good living. If we just did that.
Right. For a lot of people, that might not seem, I guess, like a lot of money, but I think for other people, that what it does is buy time.
It buys you time.
So this would be an ad for not, you're going to make so much money, you're like on a yacht, you know, driving a Porsche, you know, like that's not the kind of like image we're saying. I'm just saying you're going to live your life you have now.
Yeah.
Like not much is going to change physically. but you're going to be able to have your time. Like, you don't have to do anything for anybody else except for it yourself. And that's a big deal.
And if you live in a relatively affordable place, then 40 to 50K is pretty darn good.
And, and then it's for us, we've just taken that time, and then we've been able to invest in other things. Yeah. And that happens to be like putting our money into our local community, because there's, good real estate to buy, and you get to invest in the little world we want to be in.
Right.
I mean, that really is part of why we're starting this coffee shop.
Yeah.
Is I think it will change the social fabric of our downtown. And if it does that, it changes my life. And since we've talked about dying here, like, it will affect my life for the rest of my life. And that's all because we've been selling junk on eBay, and that's like such a weird kind of complicated,
like, how do you explain that,
thing? And maybe other people wouldn't want to do that, but that to me is like, ultimately, isn't that what money is for? You're trying to like change your like style of life, and buying a fancy car is like the easy cheater way, but it's not. To me, it just doesn't feel real,
Well,
like. This is
also real. Like, so you get a fancy car or a fancy whatever, and you're like, that's it. I want a different kind of satisfaction, which comes from meeting cool people that we've never met, because there's no place to meet anyone. Well, seeing young people have a place to go.
I mean, something we haven't talked about here, because I wasn't really kind of thinking through like what we were doing. So coffee shops being open. So our partners, we are now handling the roasting of coffee and packaging and mailing part of it, because that's our wheelhouse. That's
like, we're good at production.
Our partners are dealing with the front of house, I guess you'd say, and they've been hiring people. And so they just hired 7 people.
Local to our town.
And they've kind of been handling that, which is great, because I don't really want to do that. But it's great. Like, so the money, we're kind of part of this whole thing. We're like investing in people, local people, which is kind of exciting.
It's not kind of exciting. It's really exciting. Actually, it's really funny, because you're on the Economic Development Authority of our county, and I'm on like the downtown board, like the downtown initiative board. And so people are constantly talking about job numbers, how many jobs will they create, et cetera, et cetera. Not necessarily our boards, but like when you try to get grants and stuff, they're like, well, how many jobs? So it's kind of cool to be like, we just created 7 jobs, and maybe more once people help us roast in the future.
3 full-time and then 4 part-time. And, it's cool though.
It's kind of neat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just not something I thought of, and now I'm like, oh yeah, we like hired people, and we're gonna pay people, and there are a few full-time people.
People are gonna pay their bills, and
be able to live, and it is cool. It is good. Really cool.
Yeah. Okay, eBay specifically this week, our taxes are done. We did
our taxes. Oh, what a relief!
And the way we do our taxes is we do our numbers. We use
I use Wave right now.
Yeah, we did use GoDaddy bookkeeping, but it stopped syncing to some of our bank accounts, and they seemed unwilling or to try and figure it out. So we now go to Wave. It's just like a bookkeeping. It's not like QuickBooks. It's just like
just bookkeeping.
And then we give it to our accountant, just our base, like our profit and loss.
Yeah, right? Profit and loss. I do spreadsheets for them.
And then they do our taxes, have, double eyes on everything, and make sure everything's on the up and up. And then we just sat down with our accountant, went over our taxes, paid our taxes, and we're done. It's nice.
I was borderline harassing them because we gave them our numbers more than a month ago.
Right.
And I was like, are these done? Every week. Are these done?
I think because that new stimulus bill changed some.
Oh.
And they were waiting to see if it would change anything with our deductions, and I don't know.
That's true.
Plus, I think everything got pushed back a month anyway, so it's not till May 15th.
Right, so we were trying to be way ahead of time just to get our numbers together, and then they were like, well, we're waiting for this. So Finally.
Yeah.
Here we are.
And it's interesting, so this past 2020 was half PayPal and half managed payments.
Oh, right.
Right?
Yeah, that was a pain.
2021 is going to be all managed payments.
Right. And the good thing about that is that it's like Amazon, where all your fees and shipping, mostly all shipping, has been taken out. So you're just like, this is how much I made.
So at the end of 2021, are we going to get whatever it is, a 1099 from eBay, and that number will just be our pure profit, our net profit?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that's true. Now, you have to take into consideration any other ways you pay for shipping, like pirate ship. Like, okay, so you're going to deduct that stuff. Anything outside of eBay that eBay didn't like bill you within the system for, you'll do as an expense. But other than that, I don't think that there is. You're just like, this is it. I don't have to.
Hopefully, it should
anything.
be easier.
It should be easier.
Us and for other people.
Yeah,
we will see.
I'll find out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, our numbers this week, we sold 32 items.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Last week, we sold 46 items.
Ooh.
Yeah. So our gross sales are $1,522.06.
Okay, wow.
So our net sales after all the fees and shipping and taxes, $1,075.36. So that's the $1,000.
So last week on the podcast, I was very cocky about turning off promoted listings.
Right. Because eBay
Because I don't want to pay for them.
Well, yeah. I'm so confused if you're still understanding, or maybe I'm not understanding. The only thing eBay has done is they took away like a $30 credit.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But then I just flat out decided, why should I pay an extra 1% on... I don't care about the $30.
Okay.
Why should I pay an extra 1% on top of my listings?
Yeah. So we turned those off like right after the podcast, and then...
Sales were 0 for like 2 days.
Yeah, I don't, and we obviously, that's not a long enough time to like correlate those two things. But to me, I was just like, let's just turn promoted listings back on.
And I did. I turned them back on. I turned them back on Thursday. Although, look, I did also read something, but I feel like I read something like this every week on the eBay subreddit, on Reddit, or flipping or whatever. People were like, are you guys having 0 sales on certain days this week and 0 views? And some people were like, oh, the search algorithm's messed up because I searched for something and nothing showed up.
Yeah.
So, but I feel like I hear that all the time. So I'm like, I don't know, but I actually did experience that. So I don't know what.
Well, what is that thing? I mean, it is tough when sellers start to correlate things. They're like, well, I did this one thing and now it's changed everything. And you're like, I don't know if that's true. And
but then someone else on that forum was like, I had my best week ever. So you're like, I don't know. I don't know.
Someone did send us an article about how the stimulus checks have gone out instead of everyone going out and just spending it on a bunch of junk, which we all wish would happen, I guess. I think people, they're actually seeing that a lot of people are saving those checks, which is actually
a good thing.
Me as a good American, I'm like, that's great. I want people to save more money. Hopefully people are stocking it away. So when, I don't know, it seems like kind of all these crazy things just keep happening. Like we it's good to have like a self safety net. But still,
buy this radio from me.
At the end of the day, we made $1,000 this week.
Yeah.
So in sales after all the expenses.
Right.
So
I wish we had made more on those 2 days that we flatlined. It felt like we were actually dead. Are we dead? Nothing's happening.
I don't think it's quite that bad, but I hear you.
It's pretty bad.
Okay, so things we sold, it was just really a mix of, again, for us, clothes, shoes, and
knickknacks.
Our highest price had been this cool, like Art Deco chainmail purse from like the 30s for $110.
That thing was so cool. How much was it? $110?
Yep.
Yeah, those are so cool. They have these, the top is like this accordion, so it gets really wide and then really small, and it has a little flap top.
Yep.
And then all this chainmail. Oh my God, it's so cool.
We sold coffee mugs.
Coffee mugs.
Which is,
coffee mugs,
$15, $20.
Coffee mugs are long tail, but I love them.
Sold ball caps, that had been a real big seller for us for a while. And then not everyone, but people started going big into ball caps because
that's the only thing they sell.
So I don't think we get as many of those sales anymore. That's
also
fine.
long tail.
Yeah, long tail. So
stuff like that. I mean, it was like really basic stuff, but weird vintage used found it on the street.
Yeah. And like we said, we have, probably a space that is 20 by 20, like 400 or 500 square foot of plus 6 feet high of boxes of stuff
that we've been given
to sell. So, and stuff that we had bought. So it's kind of a mix of everything. So we're just grabbing a box. Our helper takes pictures of it and we list it. And so we have plenty to list.
Yep.
Work on that.
We have a lot to list.
Yep.
Yeah, so that's good. I have been listing on eBay when I have like an hour or two, which is almost never. But like I will just like grab some scheduled listings and just like try to get through some. So I have been listing stuff. And that stuff's been selling too. There have been a few things where I'm like, well, that sold in a day.
Well, I mean, it's like we said, like we have learned how to backflip and now it's easy. And so we've built our eBay store. We have 8,000 items in our store. And so even if we're only doing 20 extra items every week, there's plenty in our store to sell.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
Yeah.
Things we learned in the forum. I don't know why two different people came on our forum and seemed confused. They seem like more of the new sellers or people that kind of sell like as a hobby, kind of on the edge.
Yeah.
And they're the kind of people that sell, they don't want to pay for a listing.
Oh, right.
Free. So I guess eBay, I don't really know this, but I think eBay gives you 50 or 200 and it's 50, it's free items every month.
Okay.
So there is like a way to sell on eBay for free. They're kind of reaching out to like the people that are just selling things in their closet. They were confused because they thought if I list it's 50 items in May, then it's next month I can list another
50 more.
It's 50 items, and like you could grow your store for free. So, by the end of 10 months, you could have 500 items in your store for free.
Yeah, no, that's not how it works. It's 50 items total.
Right.
Forever.
So when you can list it's 50 items free in the month of May, after the end of May, those items get taken off of eBay. So so anything that doesn't sell, you could put back up, but it eats into that.
So they take it down, or they just do good till canceled?
Well, I don't really know. I guess it depends on how you list it. If you do it good till canceled or 30 days, or I don't know.
Got it. Okay.
But the whole point is, those free ones are just for the month. And so that's how it is with us. For a long time, we've had an anchor store subscription where we can have 10,000 items in our store every month.
For an flat rate.
Right. And we've just paid that. And that's just the way it is. And it's just like it's renting a storefront. It's just like a rent to keep the doors open.
But now it's cheaper.
Right, and now it's cheaper for us. But,
Thank goodness.
It's the same way. And I tell people, I don't know. Like, if you're really trying to make some money on eBay, the fees to keep your items up is not very much.
It is a deduction, man.
I mean, I've gone through how much it costs us to keep items up for a year or 2 or 3. As long as we're selling things for like $30.
Yeah, it's not much.
The fees to keep them in our store are so tiny.
And it's like you already did the work.
Yeah.
The work was done, so just leave it there.
So, I don't know. It's, it's fine. Some people they're always on the edge. Yeah. They're just selling 5 things, 10 things, and that's fine. It's money. All right, let's go to the calls that people sent in.
You can call our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file. Our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hey, Ryan and Jay, it's debit and credits. When the caller called in this week about questions about combining for global shipping, I felt like a little kid at the back of the classroom, like thrusting his hand in the air going, "Oh, I know the answer. Pick me, pick me." Here is my workaround. Go ahead and cancel the order, but cancel the order at the buyer's request. When you do that, it does not ding your seller metrics. And, it is technically at the buyer's request because it's the only way that you can go forward and combine shipping. It is annoying because eBay will automatically relist the items. So you will have to cancel the orders, cancel the relistings, but now your seller's metrics aren't impacted and you can go ahead and make a combined special order. When I make that special order, I inflate the price to a ridiculously high number. Like, let's say I was selling 2 pieces of artwork for $100. I would list it for $1,000 and then put best offer on it and communicate to the buyer that, okay, when this listing comes up, just offer me $100 and I'll automatically accept. That saves you from the off chance that someone might buy the listing. And frankly, if they pay $1,000, then whatever, I could live with that too. But it's never happened. As always, I do love your podcast, and I look forward to the next one. Be well.
Yeah, it's really too bad that eBay makes you kind of jump through those hoops.
Well, I was going to say,
smart,
what you described is so complicated. I mean, it's not that complicated, but you're like, eBay, just let us do it. Although some people, I think we might get to a call about this, where they're saying that, if someone bought a fur coat and a denim jacket in a certain country, eBay's like, you can't put those in the same box because the denim jacket's fine, but the fur coat's not.
It's for
like customs. So that's probably the reason why they don't allow you to combine shipping. But yeah, it is kind of a pain.
Hey, Jay and Ryan, I thought I'd tell you about something that happened to me recently. I sold a smartphone on eBay, a new smartphone for $850 to someone in Russia, and I used the GSP Global Shipping Program to send it to them. A couple weeks later, the buyer opened a return, and they stated that the box they received was empty. And the buyer said they had a police report. So I asked them to send me the police report, but they never responded. And so I kind of felt like this was a scam. So I opened up a case against the buyer, stating that I had shipped the phone, and I contacted eBay seller help. The person I spoke to said they heard my story. They thought I was going to be okay. And they would pass it along to their supervisor, and then they would get back to me with an email. eBay sent me that email, and they said the buyer had been refunded the $850 and that I would be charged the $850. And so I called eBay again, explained my situation. The person I spoke to, they thought that I was going to be okay. And they said they'd give it to their supervisor. They'd send me, an email. I got it, and they said I would be charged the $850 and then I should look into collecting postal insurance. So I called them again. And I said, look, I used the GSP to send this to you, and I successfully delivered the item to your warehouse in Kentucky. I said, I cannot collect postal insurance because the tracking would show that was successfully delivered. And I have no idea what carrier eBay used to send this to Russia, so I can't collect that insurance. And so they said they'd give it to their supervisor, and they'd send me an email. Got the email, and eBay responded stating that they agreed with me and that I won't be charged the $850. So apparently perseverance pays off. Thanks.
Good. That's great. I guess my question for you is, I feel like the key word always when there's an issue with global shipping is I always am like, I'm having an issue with a global shipping customer. It was shipped global shipping. Like over and over global shipping so that they just take it from there. So that's always been how I did it. The other question I have is, how did you open a case against a customer? I don't even think that's possible.
I was going to ask that. Like, is that even possible to open up a case? But I mean, maybe he meant that he just called to
report them,
alert eBay of that's a problem. But yeah, look, at the end of the day, I'm glad it worked out. I mean, when you're dealing with that kind of money too,
yeah, that's a lot of money.
It's worth, pushing it and really being on the phone. But yeah, like Ryan said, normally if you say it's global shipping, then it gets handled.
They close the case in your favor.
Because Pitney Bowes that handles that for eBay, they have, insurance on that stuff.
And like you said, you got it to Kentucky and that's all you're responsible for. So... yeah, I don't know. That's a pain. I hear you. Like, there have been many a times where I'm like, eBay, you're not listening to me. And I say the same thing over and over. So, but I'm glad, yes, $850 is worth fighting for. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we would never ship something like that to Russia except through GSP.
Right.
So... I don't fault you for doing that, but yeah, that's
yes,
that's a dangerous game right there.
Oh yeah.
All right, that is it for calls. I don't really want to. You want to talk about coffee at all, or?
Our limited edition is out.
Is it out?
I have one more roast to do.
Okay.
Is that true? Yeah, I have one more roast to do tomorrow.
I don't know. So we bought this really special bag of coffee, 150 pounds.
Yep, just one bag.
What country?
It's Costa Rica.
Costa Rica, yeah. And so it's kind of like again, it's not flavored.
Right.
But it tastes like strawberries.
Yeah, it's like chocolate-covered strawberries. It's really, really good.
So I think we only have maybe 10
just a few bags.
Pounds. Yeah, so if you're interested to try it out, because once it's gone, it's gone.
Yeah.
You can go to broadporchcoffee.com.
Yeah, broadporchcoffee.com.
And order it. Yeah.
And order it. And our cafe will be open so soon.
Yeah.
Everyone will know once it's open.
It's happening.
It's happening.
All right, this podcast is ending in
3, 2, 1. Bye.